Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Market Talk with BTR, Episode 4. Can you believe that? Today, we're sitting here speaking with King Lawrence, Superintendent of Aiken County Schools. Welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here on the podcast. This is only my second ever podcast. So,
I feel so. And you know what? You may not remember this, but this is a full circle moment for me. You approved my dissertation in the Aiken County Schools. I did my dissertation on Aiken High, South Aiken, and Midland Valley, and you approved that for me.
Well, I'm glad everything worked out, obviously.
Everything worked out. My name is Dr. Katina Broadwater.
So I'm glad that everything worked out. I know it was hard.
It was very hard. So thank you. Yeah. So let's just kick it off. I don't want to take up so much of your time, but I want to give the viewers and the listeners some meat, because I try to tell everyone, Market Talk is just not about real estate. Real estate touches everything in our community. Our clients want to know, how good are your schools? What's the crime like? What areas to go in? What activities do you have?
Right.
So having you here will spark a lot of conversation.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to be able to do that, and hopefully I can share some good things about Aiken County Public Schools that people will like to hear and will make an impact on the decisions that they make.
Thank you.
Right.
So let's start with you.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit of background about you and your role. How long have you been with the school district?
So I've been with Aiken County Public Schools. This is my 26th year with Aiken County Public Schools. I started out in Edgefield County as a teacher and an assistant principal, and I came over here in the late 90s as a principal at Busby Elementary School in Wagner. And from there, I've just gone through various jobs. I think I've done most of the jobs that are available in education here in Aiken County. And 3 years ago, this month, 3 years ago, I was asked to be the interim superintendent. I did that for about 5 months, and then they asked me to be the actual superintendent. So I've been doing that since then. I hope to be here much longer.
Congratulations on that. What's your vision? You've been in the school system 26 years. What is your vision for the school district?
Yeah, I believe that education makes life better. And that's what I talk about all the time. That's my why. That's the reason that I do what I do, is because we can make life better for people. We make their we allow them to get better jobs. We allow them to have better homes. We allow them to have better relationships. We help them to have more rich and interesting lives and relationships because of the education that we can provide for them, and the preparation that we give them for whatever comes next. Very excited that we have consistently around a 90% graduation rate, which is very high, well above the state average. And not only do those students graduate, but those students go on to those rich lives that I talked about. Many of our students go right into the workforce, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about that. Many of them go into the military or other service areas. Some go to 2 and 4 year colleges and universities, but we believe that we do a good job of preparing them for that next step. And that's why I do this. I want to see our community grow. I want to see our community prosper. And I think that education is the key to that.
I agree with you. And on your website, I looked up what the mission is. And on there, it says, we believe that. And there's several things that the school district believes in, which every one of us, our kids are in school. Our community is better for our kids getting the education they receive. And I just wanted to repeat some of it or state some of it. Each individual has inherent genius and value that benefit from inspiration and nurture. Safe and secure environments are paramount for success. So you talked about truancy in your intro. You also discussed jobs. So I'm going to jump around on my question list because you started it. How do you partner with incoming employers or current employers to prepare our kids graduating school for the workforce.
Yeah, and that's very important to us because we have an ongoing conversation with the employers in Aiken County, and we do workforce development. We have what's called Aiken Works, which is a very comprehensive apprenticeship, job shadowing, internship program where we work with Apprenticeship South Carolina, we work with Aiken Technical College, we work with USC Aiken, and with the various employers to get real world job experiences for our students, to get placement for our students in these various roles, and even for our younger students, beginning even in elementary and middle school, helping them to see what careers are available out there. And that makes a big difference because, we want these students to be successful, we want them to prosper, but my preference is for them to be successful and prosper right here in Aiken County.
Absolutely.
Because if they stay home and take the skills that they've learned and the experiences that they've had and put that to work for our community and for our citizens, then we just continue to benefit and it continues to build on itself. So many times young people leave their community. I know my daughter who's come back home now, I'm very pleased with that, but she spent a lot of time in the upstate. And Greenville and Spartanburg County are very attractive to people.
Right.
And a lot of our young people end up there. A lot of our young people end up in Anderson County and up in those areas, maybe in the foothills of North Carolina as well, because it's just a rich, vibrant community for young people. And I say, why can't Aiken be like that? And it can be, and it is becoming that. And I think more and more of our young people are recognizing it. And I think they're seeing that yeah, they can have that exciting lifestyle that they're looking for in a big city.
Absolutely.
As far as Greenville can be a big city, but they can see that, but they can see the job opportunities and they can see the career opportunities that they have here. And I think that makes a huge difference. And I think the more that we talk to those employers and understand what they're looking for. I mean, usually they tell me they're looking for employees who can, get along with each other, who can come to work and stay at work. And those are things, we can teach you, the basic skills, and we can help you through our Career and Technology Center and through our dual enrollment opportunities with Aiken Technical College. We can prepare you for those things, but we also have to make them be responsible. We have to help our students understand that, employers, if you don't have the skills that they need, they'll get you the skills that they need. But what they're looking for is again, someone who will come to work every day, someone who will come to work on time every day, someone who will do the job while they're there and get along with their coworkers while they're there. And that's something that we try to instill in our students because we want them to have those values. And that's some of those things that we believe, and recognizing the genius in our students and recognizing that they can accomplish these great things, but they have to have those personality traits and skills to be able to operate in the society that we have.
Absolutely. You stated that Greenville, Anderson, upstate, those are some of the places our students land.
Yeah.
So you're keeping track of certain indicators for school enrollment and truancy.
Yeah.
How does that look for you as a superintendent? How important is it for you to measure those key performance indicators when it comes to the schools?
Well, it's important for us because we're looking at the population as a whole. And so our population is starting to change here in Aiken County. And I think it's obvious in the housing starts that we have and in the new industry coming into the area. You can't drive down any major road in our county without seeing new housing developments and those kinds of things. So that is something that is happening. We've had, for 50 years in Aiken County, we've had between 23 and 25,000 students. And it's amazing because the population of Aiken County has probably doubled in that time. But it's doubled with people who are retired coming into our community, or people who for whatever reason are not having as many children. And so that's been something that has been an issue for us, and we've considered what does that mean? And what does that mean when our graduates move away to other communities and don't come back? That's having an impact not only on our community as a whole, but it's having an impact on our schools.
Right.
Because when those young people don't stay here, then we don't have those young families. And so that's critical for us. What I'm seeing changing now is that not only are many of our young people are going away for a few years and then coming back, or they're going away to college and realizing, hey, I'd like to get back to Aiken, or many of them are people from other parts of the country are coming here, young families. And I think that's going to have a big impact on us, and we're seeing the growth, especially in the western part of the county, from about USC Aiken to the west, through the Midland Valley area and into North Augusta.
Right.
We're seeing that growth, and a lot of it is these young families. So for so long, most of the new people moving into Aiken County were retired folks, which is great, love retired folks. But they weren't having a huge impact on the school system. Now these young families are coming in, these families associated with the military and cyber over at Fort Gordon, they're coming in, they're bringing their families, and they have pretty high expectations for the school system.
Right.
And we have made a concerted effort in the last 8 to 10 years to focus on our facilities, to focus on the quality of education that we provide, and I think that's making a difference, and people are seeing it. And they're able to market Aiken County even better than they ever have been before.
Right.
Because not only are you looking at the infrastructure of Aiken County, and you're looking at the housing opportunities and the job opportunities, but you're able to take people to schools and show those things off.
Absolutely. I know in the past, when I was in high school, they prepared you for college.
Yeah.
Now that's no longer the case.
Right.
You see probably 50-50-ish.
Yeah.
I'm asking, go to college and the rest of them funnel right into the workforce. How does that look?
Yeah, I don't know the exact percentages, but yeah, we take an approach that it doesn't matter what your end goal is, we're going to get you prepared for it. So if your desire is college, we're going to get you to college, and we're going to help you to be successful in college. If your goal is manufacturing, we're going to prepare you for manufacturing. If your goal is the medical field, we're going to prepare you for that. We're going to get you the basics right here, but then we're going to get you an easy transition into Aiken Technical College to get that degree, and then into USC Aiken to get that degree. If whether it's welding or auto technology or any of those things, where maybe you graduate on Friday night, and Monday morning you walk into a very well-paying job. Whatever that is, we want you to be prepared for it. And that's really the focus that we have. Whatever comes next, whatever the needs are of our students, we want to adapt ourselves to meet those needs. For a long time, that was one thing. I remember when I was in high school, they really did talk all about, you're going to college, you're going to college, you're going to college. And
Yes.
college is absolutely wonderful. And but that didn't fit everybody.
That's right.
And what education used to do in many cases was try to fit people into its box.
Mm-hmm.
But we've reversed that. We don't want to fit people into our box. We want to see what we need to do to make them be prepared and to be successful once they leave us.
Right.
That's the critical thing for us.
Right. And there are some careers where they leave high school and go straight into the careers. I know cosmetology is one of them, welding, mechanics.
Yeah.
What programs do you have for the students in high school that they can go straight into the workforce?
Yeah, so you mentioned several of them there. We've got a new Dell Workbench program at several of our high schools where students are getting the skills for computer repair. Mm-hmm. They'll be able to take that right into a job, but they can also expand on that. Same thing with welding and cosmetology. Some of our health care opportunities, they can go right into a doctor's office or right into the hospital with some of those skills. But they also can layer those credentials on top of each other. Mm-hmm. So you've got your basic welding skills, and you can go do great. But
Right.
suppose you're a welder and you want to weld on an oil rig, and you need that underwater certification. So you go on and add that on top of the certification you already have, nuclear welding.
Wow.
They can go from our program into Aiken Technical College, and then the Savannah River site can scoop them up. I mean, there's so many opportunities that they have, and the great thing about it is they're graduating with high school with an employable skill. They
Yes.
got something that somebody will pay them for.
Mhm.
So even if they haven't reached the point where they're looking for, they can go earn the money that they need to provide for a family, to put aside a nest egg, to buy the things they want to buy. At the same time, adding on to those credentials through continuing education at Aiken Technical College, and there just isn't really any limit. I mean, we've got something in Aiken County that very few communities have, because we've got basically a self-contained school system that covers the whole county. Plus, we have a technical college that is focused. I mean, students come from other places, but it's focused primarily on Aiken County.
Right.
And we have a 4-year university in USC Aiken right here in Aiken County. So you really can get every educational option that you need right here, and have a really rich and fulfilling career and life right here. And I just love that about Aiken County.
I love that about Aiken also. There were some programs in the school or classes in the school that didn't provide enough focus, or the community felt didn't provide enough focus, and one of that was your financial classes.
Yeah.
Is there plans to add specific financial classes, how to balance a checkbook, those small things that you need but in school, but you need them more in life?
So all of our high schools offer some level of financial education like that, but beginning with this year's freshmen, I believe, it's going to be a requirement for graduation. So they'll have to have a full semester of it going forward. So that's exciting. I mean, it's always been an option, well, not always, but for many years it's been an option. But now it's going to be a requirement. So we'll make sure they go out with at least those basic financial literacy skills that they need.
Thank you. Now, when I ride down Rutland Drive or Pine Log, those are not the schools I remember when I was growing up. What are your plans to continue to improve our schools, or revamp the schools and bring them to a more modern pace?
Yeah. So the goal is to upgrade or replace all of our schools, and we've had a really good start on that. And it's interesting, talking about people coming in to Aiken County and talking about industry coming into Aiken County. I've talked to several folks who are responsible for some of that recruiting of industry, and they will tell me that years ago they avoided taking people to visit schools, because our schools were, we had schools that were built in the 40s and 50s.
Yes.
We had one school that was built in the teens, actually. The old Development Campbell was built in 1918, and we just replaced it.
Yep.
So it's some things that were a problem for us, and I know were a problem for getting industry to come into Aiken County and for getting families to come. So even if we got the industry to come, often the families would live, in another county or across the river. And so that was an issue for us. So working with the Chamber of Commerce, working with our business partners, having community support for the penny sales tax back in 2014, the bond referendum for $90 million in 2018, and getting a real start on rebuilding these schools, and that makes a difference, because the most important thing about education is the people, the teachers, and the support staff and the leadership. That's very important. But the facility that you work in makes a difference, and the facility that you learn in makes a difference as well.
Yes.
And it certainly makes a difference to people coming in from other parts of the country or other parts of the world looking to locate their manufacturing operation or their headquarters maybe in Aiken County. They want to see that when they're bringing their executives here, or they're bringing their workers here, or or they're recruiting executives and workers from within our population, that their families are going to be secure in the education system that's here for them. And I think we're accomplishing that.
You are.
Yeah, so I think we're accomplishing that, and we're not finished. The current penny sales tax runs out in 2025. So on the 2024 ballot, we'll be asking for that to be renewed. And we'll have projects, there's several projects. We don't know exactly what the projects will be yet, but certainly we're looking at a few of our high schools still need to be revamped and upgraded. We have a couple of middle schools that are still in that 1950s, 60s era of construction, and a couple of elementary schools too. So I can definitely see where the projects will likely be, but we want the community's input, and we want to have conversations about that before we actually put those on the ballot.
Well, thank you for that. A question about nutrition in the schools. That's something that has been discussed locally, nationally, across the board. What are we doing in this school district to focus on the nutrition that our students receive when they're in the school?
Yeah, well, it's very hard for a student to focus and concentrate and learn if they're hungry. And if they're not hungry, if they're worried about where their next meal is going to come from. So it's very important to us to focus on nutrition, not only in our cafeterias and in the meals that we provide, and our school food service folks do a great job with that, but also in nutrition education. And so our health classes and many of our science classes, they focus on nutrition a great deal, especially in the younger grades, where those habits are kind of being formulated and helping our students to recognize that. But we get input from students on some of the things that we offer in our meal programs. Sometimes they tell us, this just isn't good. We don't want this. So there's a balancing act between providing nutritional options, but also attractive options for our students. And our food service director does a very good job of handling that balancing act, and is working very hard to provide meals for our students that they really want to eat, but also provide that nutrition that they need. And when the pandemic first started, that was one of the first things that we were able to do. Even though the schools were closed, we were able to load meals on the buses and get those out there to students. And just, I don't remember the exact number, but it was hundreds of thousands of meals that we served during that initial part of the pandemic. And we were very pleased that we were able to do that. And it just shows that is a huge focus for us, and something that we recognize is very important for the well-being of our children.
Yeah. And I know that First Lady Michelle Obama started the Let's Move campaign when President Barack Obama was in office. I know we've always had physical education in the schools. Is it more now with the nutrition being at top of mind to make sure that that's connected with physical activity?
Yeah, physical activity is important. And I've had conversations with principals, and I've had conversations with my staff about how we can enhance the amount of PE that we can offer. It's very difficult. We have a limited amount of time in the day and a lot of requirements. So scheduling becomes an issue. Middle schools sometimes find it very difficult, especially students taking high school courses and getting all of the required courses in, and still being able to fit in a PE class every year. So that's something that I've made a priority, and have talked to my assistant superintendents about as they look at their schools and how they're going to help them plan going forward, making sure that we have sufficient PE teachers in our schools, because you've got a 700 or 800 student middle school. One PE teacher is not going to do it.
That's right.
So you have to have the flexibility, and you have to have the ability to offer those classes. There are still some situations where a student might not be able to get PE every year, but I want those to be rare. I want it to be a priority that we focus on physical activity looking at not just their current health, but their lifelong health. I
Right.
mean, it's like I was saying about looking for jobs and the employers looking for those soft skills, looking for those people who are going to come to work, stay at work,
Right.
do their job and get along. Well, those are habits that we have to develop. You also have to develop those nutritional habits. I had some very bad nutritional habits that I had to break. And I think I've been pretty successful in breaking them, and I'm a pretty healthy eater these days. But it has to be a habit.
Right.
And exercise and physical activity, that has to be something that becomes a habit, and we're developing those right now. So when students don't have those opportunities, they may still develop those habits themselves, but it sure is a boost for them if we're helping to guide the development of that.
It's nice to be introduced to it early. I can't sit down with the superintendent and not ask about the teacher shortage.
Yeah.
How is that impacting our school district?
Well, it's causing my human resources department to work pretty darn hard.
Yes.
But we are in better shape than most places. A lot of the reason is because it's Aiken County. I mean, we have an attractive product to offer. I mean, we're our location between the mountains and the coast, the opportunities for spouses, the opportunities for children, the emphasis that we have on the arts, the emphasis that we have on the food scene and everything else. I mean, there is really a lot to offer in Aiken County, and that's part of what's drawing some of those folks that are going away to those cities, bringing them back. But we are still short some teachers. And that is a challenge, but we also have very creative school leaders. It's caused some of our class sizes to be larger than we'd like for them to be. It's caused some of our teachers who would typically teach 5 classes a day. Many of our teachers are having to teach 6 classes a day, and of course we're compensating them for that. But we're managing to meet the needs of our students. Is it convenient, and is it easy, and is it efficient? Probably not. But we pool our resources, we find solutions, and we make sure that our students have what they need. If I could get those 30 additional teachers that I'm short, and 30 teachers short in a school district with 1,600 teachers, that really we can spread that workload, and we can make things work. There are a lot of communities in our state and around the country that don't have what Aiken County has to offer.
Right.
And they truly are struggling to get enough teachers.
Yeah. And the landscape of the around the year school calendar is changing with a soft launch, I believe, this year.
Yeah.
So how is that looking, and what is your feedback from everyone on this new format?
Yeah, I'm excited about it, and I think this is going to be a recruiting tool for us, because I think that a lot of the biggest support for this came from teachers, not only teachers within Aiken County, but from around the state, who see the value in having blocks of time with students, and then opportunities to refresh themselves, students to refresh themselves, parents to re-engage with their students, a short period of time for to provide intervention for students if they need it before waiting to the end of the year. Those are the kind of things, because typically in a traditional schedule, you got 9 months of school, and then you try to, if somebody has gotten behind, you try to cram in some intervention. Well, this way they go 9 weeks, and we can recognize students who are already starting to have some trouble, and we can intervene for them right at that point, and then help them, give them the scaffolding and give them the support going into the next 9 weeks. And if they're still struggling, or different students are struggling, there's another opportunity, and then another opportunity.
Yes.
So that is huge for them. This year, you mentioned the soft launch. We're having a 1-week fall break in October, and that's just to kind of get used to the idea of having that break in the fall. But then next year, we'll start school on July 25th, which will be an adjustment for everybody. It's much earlier. But then after 9 weeks, there's 2 weeks off. and then 9 weeks and 2 weeks off, and 9 weeks and 2 weeks off. So, and we'll finish the school year at the end of May. So I think there are a lot of things about it that that are going to be very attractive. There was some opposition to it, obviously, when we were looking at the planning phases. But what I've said from the beginning, and what I've heard from other school districts who have already done it in South Carolina, and dozens more who are starting at the same time we are, once parents fully engage in the new calendar, they love it. I mean, they end up liking the flexibility that they have to do family events in the fall and in the spring that typically they've had to squeeze into the summer. And summer's still going to be pretty nice. And this year, summer's only going to be about 6 weeks because of the October break that we built in. But typically, summer's still going to be 7 weeks.
Okay.
So you're only losing 3 weeks of the summer. One of those weeks is getting added to spring break, making it 2 weeks, and 2 of those weeks are going into the fall. So people are still going to have a reasonably
nice
summer, but they're also going to have those other breaks, and we've got the other advantages, being able to meet those needs of students throughout the year instead of waiting until the end of the year.
Wow, that's good. And that's an adjustment.
Yeah, it will be.
Yes.
But I think that people will adjust quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, what about the remainder of the events for this year? What events you have coming up within the school district?
Well, I mean, the school year is always filled with excitement. A night does not go by that there's not something going on. Of course, we're in the middle of football season. We have 2 home games in the county tonight that I will try to attend. Athletics is very important to Aiken County. Arts is very important. We have plans in the spring for an arts festival that we collaborate with the Aiken Center for the Arts on. So that's very exciting. Our elementary students have opportunities to engage with the Aiken Symphony. And that's always something that, they go to an actual symphony concert, and many of the musicians come into the schools and work with them there. So those are some exciting things that are going to be coming up. We're always looking for people who want to join our team. Right now, our big emphasis is on bus drivers. You mentioned the shortage of teachers, which is true, but really more critical to us right now is the shortage of bus drivers. It causes us to have multiple routes for a driver, which means some students are having to leave home very, very early.
Yes.
Some students are getting home very, very late. So I would encourage anybody to think, I might like to serve in that way. You don't really think of it as just a job because you are really impacting a lot of people. You're impacting families, you're impacting those students. But if you've ever considered, I might like to serve some way. How can I serve kids? I'm not a teacher. Maybe I'm retired. Maybe I've got other things going on. Maybe that's a way that I can serve. So I always encourage people to consider that.
I like that. Thank you. I know college night when is that?
That's coming up soon. I'm not sure exactly when it is, but I know it's coming up soon. And then we do a big college and career event at USC Aiken. We had our first one last spring, and we'll do it again this spring and hopefully expand that even further.
Good. So don't forget to go check the calendar at the Aiken County School District because all of this information is there. That's all the questions I have. I mean, you've given us a plethora of information today. What do you want to leave us with?
Well, I just enjoy talking about it. I don't know if you can tell.
I can tell.
I enjoy talking about Aiken County Public Schools, and I appreciate any opportunity that I get to do that. We have a wonderful opportunity for people here in Aiken County, and I think that our schools are just one part of that, but they're an incredibly important part of that. And we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we're doing our part to continue to make Aiken County a wonderful place to live.
Thank you.
All right.
You heard it here first. Broadwater-Toole Realty Market Talk with King Lawrence, Superintendent of Aiken County Schools. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.